Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We are going to dive into a Yahoo Fantasy Baseball live draft. This is a rotisserie league. We got the second pick in this draft. I'm actually pretty pumped about that spot. There are some downfalls, of course, when you pick early. That turn's going to come quite a ways after you pick your first pick. So chances are, have an early draft strategy. Going to likely have to adapt on the fly based on how other people act here in the first couple rounds. So we are going to get likely either of Trey Turner or Ronald Acuna. I like Acuna over Judge in this format. I think Judge is likely going to lead the league in homers again, but I kind of like Acuna just a hair better for what he can with five tools this season. And I'm betting on a healthy this year here as well. Nevertheless, I want to thank you guys for joining us here. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to smash that like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so already. Certainly, we certainly do appreciate you guys' support. So while we go through this here, we got 3 minutes before the draft starts. While we go through this, we are going to um, ad coming up. Rid of that. There. We're going to talk some fantasy baseball, kind of what my thoughts are, uh, my projections, of course, what we can see here for the year, where I'm going with my draft, my strategies, that kind of stuff. If you guys are new to this, there's only about a week left before the season kicks off here, so this is going to be almost a true representation of how a league should go. Unlike at the start of the season, there are certain guys, for example, that I'm targeting that I could have gotten with the last couple of picks in the draft, which I'll likely have to reach for in this draft, which is perfectly okay. I'm quite all right with that. We'll kind of go through the list here as the draft goes on. But yeah, we're about 2 minutes in here. I got the second pick. I'm pretty happy with that. It's always good to get. I say the first three picks um, are kind of the cream, absolute cream of the crop this year. I'm happy with any one of those three guys as my first choice here. So it's always good to kind of get in that first three. So I'm happy. I'll get likely, like I said there at the start, I'm gonna try to get either Trey Turner or Acuna. Whichever one doesn't happen to fall to me, that's what I'm gonna use. If neither of them fall to me, it's very possible that Diamond D's picks Aaron Judge, in which case I'll have a decision to make. I have picked Trey Turner in one of my leagues where I drafted first. So that's certainly kind of where I'm leaning towards here. But there's a good list of shortstops out there. So I think what I might end up doing, me end up going Ronald Acuna, because the outfield list drops off pretty heavily after the first 60, 70 picks. If you're new here again, please smash that subscribe button and like the stream. We always appreciate the support. We're under a minute to go here. We'll do the first few picks, and then I'm going to start kind of talking to you guys about who I've got queued up. I got five players for each position, except for of course outfielders and pitchers, and I added I think 15. I got a few more. I think it's 10 that I did for those here that we can talk about. All right, we are 10 seconds away. Here we go. We'll get the first pick out of the way, and then we'll discuss a little bit about uh, what the plan is here. So first up is Diamond D, and of course he's auto picking, which likely means he's going to get Turner. We'll see. Oh no, he got Acuna. All right, well that makes my decision easy here. I think we are going to go Trey Turner for our first pick here in this draft. If you're new to drafting with Yahoo, it's pretty straightforward. Over on the left of the screen, you'll see the list of teams who are going to be drafting. Your spot's going to show up. Your team shows up in kind of orange here, and then it's got a little ticker at the top here as to how many picks before yours. This is going to be kind of information on the player that you're picking. They typically put a 2023 projected total on top. I don't really pay a ton of attention to that. I know that there are quite a few, projection systems that feed into these projections, but I still kind of feel like if it's good to look at, but I wouldn't base your your draft on projection. I more kind of feel as I see. Um all right, so we're now six in here. The goal for me, I've got a couple. Got three actually. The biggest thing that I try to do is I try to pick up top five or top six first baseman and certainly a top five, top six third baseman right out of the gate here because they do not. The third baseman class is quite uh, shallow. There's not a whole lot of great talent there, so you're going to want to try and get one early so that way you can feel comfortable with that position. So as it stands here, we take a look at we have third baseman. Um, and I'll show drafted because a couple have already come off the board. So Ramirez is off the board, Machado's off the board. You got Witts, Devers, Austin Riley, Nolan Arenado, and then it gets dicey after that. So if you don't pick in one of the top six, you're going to be a little hard done by to try and get a solid third baseman. There are some guys towards the end of the draft that you can pick up, and I've got them kind of started. We can kind of start with third baseman for those who are curious about the position. I've queued up guys like Max Muncy, Matt Chapman, Jose Miranda, Brian Hayes, and Anthony Stone. Those five I have as kind of picks that you can feel comfortable about if you have to grab one later on in the draft. Chapman, of course, is going to be playing in Toronto. They just moved the fences in again. I made them a little bit higher, but they are closer. So for a fly ball hitter like Chapman, that does bode well there for him. He could easily hit that 27 home run mark. You'll be getting him at a discount at 160 ADP. Max Muncy, I like here as well. Left-handed batter. He's gonna benefit from the new shift rules. I imagine he's gonna likely hit better than 213. I would probably put him in the 230, 240 range for average this year. That would be kind of where I'd hope that he'd land. Safe bet for a solid amount of home runs. Jose Miranda is sneaky good. He's going to be probably hitting towards the middle of that lineup. Brian Hayes, I think there's going to be a power resurgence here as well. I mean, he definitely has the ability. He hasn't really shown it yet. I think he's a solid bet for 15 plus home runs. And Anthony Rendon, a lot of people are writing him off because he hasn't been healthy. He's certainly someone that I think you get at a discount, and he's going to pay off for you quite handsomely. There's a couple other guys on the list, like a Justin Turner. That's not a bad one here. Jordan Walker, actually, I should probably put him on there as well. He may not start the season, but I would be shocked if he doesn't finish the season in St. Louis. He's going to likely play in the outfield, but he's got that third base tag, which is going to be really valuable in this. So he's one that I wouldn't mind taking a flyer at there as well. All right, so we are 3 picks from our next pick. There's a couple of interesting players out on the board still. We'll see if they land our way. Wouldn't mind getting a piece of Pete Alonso here. My hope is if we can get either Alonso or Goldschmidt and then Austin Riley. That's my goal for these next two. We'll see if we get lucky. Tempted to pick up Garrett Cole, of course, if he stays on the board, but I'm not super keen on picking a pitcher that early. Oh, Pete Alonso's gone. So that leaves me Paul Goldschmidt, which I'm comfortable taking here. I know um he's getting up there in age, but he's still a very quality bat. So we're gonna go ahead and put Paul Goldschmidt on the team, and then let's see if we can land Austin Riley. We do. So Austin Riley is going to be joining the squad here as well. That puts us in a very good position here. So we were able to complete that goal. We've got one of the top six first basemen and third basemen. So now we can concentrate on trying to get some solid pitching squad here. So let's take a look at another um, kind of just go down the list here. We'll go to catchers. Catchers that I've got lined up here. Dalton Varsho. I think the secret's out on him. He's got potential 30 home run power, and he's gonna be position. He's gonna be playing in the catcher position there. Sorry for your fantasy squad, but in reality, he's playing outfield this year, so he's likely going to see upwards of 500 at bats there as well, hitting kind of in the low middle of that stacked Toronto lineup. So I've got a really good feeling about Dalton Varsho this year. He's a little high for me at 67 ADP. Um, if there's a scenario where people aren't going for him and we're into like the seventh, eighth round, then I'll take a look at him. But I mean, I'm not gonna pay for him in the fifth round. That's too high for me for a catcher there as well. Adley Rushman is the one that I've actually been picking up in the majority of my leagues. I believe the hype. I mean, he's got some serious contact tools. He's not going to hit for an enormous amount of power, but he's going to be hitting atop or near the top of the Baltimore lineup, which is going to be pretty improved this season here with all the influx of young guys that they've got um, playing here there this year. So I like Adley Rushman. I think he's um, I I bet you he outperforms what they're projecting his average. I think he's going to be 72, 75 hitter. Runs maybe a little overstated, but I mean he scored a ton of runs last year, so it's not like he had 70 runs and 300 under 400 at bats. So there's certainly potential for him to be able to duplicate that. I think you're going to see more runs batted in from him this year, though. MJ Melendez, kind of the same thing as Dalton Varsho. Melendez is going to be playing a lot more outfield than he's going to be for catcher, so he's going to be a lock for 500 plus at bats, which is gold for when you're picking up catchers, especially in a league like this where you really want to have a catcher that's going to be playing um, more often than not. I mean, if you get like, for example, any of the other traditional catchers, with the exception maybe Real Muto, Tyler Stevenson, who we're going to be talking about here in a second, they're all going to be taking every third or fourth game off, which is not really going to help you out there in your league, because that's going to leave unplayed games on the table, and that's a fantasy killer. You want to try and get as many games as possible under your belt. That way you can pick up those counting stats, which are super valuable. So I'm gonna be I may end up going for Varsho. I may end up going for Melendez. William Contreras, I like here as a later pick. He's going to be playing the lion's share of catching duties there in Milwaukee. That's a right-handed hitter's haven. 24 home runs is certainly not out of the question there. He could actually rank out as the number catcher here this year. But the one that I'm really interested in is Tyler Stevenson. He's been basically given the green light again in Cincinnati for catching a bunch of games. There's talk of him playing first, which again is going to give you multi-position eligibility, and he is going to be at or near the top of the batting average title there for catchers this year. I mean, they haven't projected hitting over 300. I don't know if he's going to be doing quite that well there, but hitting in the middle of the Cincinnati lineup, potential 280 hitter. He might be able to pitch in. I mean, they got this on 311 at bats. I would say he's likely going to be a little closer to 20 home runs, maybe 80 RBI. That is just phenomenal for what you can get in the catcher position. So he's one that I'm going to be targeting here. If we don't happen to get catcher earlier off uh, in the draft. let's move over. We'll talk some first baseman here. There's a couple that I've got on my list that I really like. We got Vinny Pasquantino, left-hander. I'm kind of keying in. One of the things that I'm doing here for the draft is I'm going to be keying in on left-handed batters. Um, Actually, I should probably put what I'm about to say here on hold for a second because we are 4 picks away from choosing our next player, and I should take a look to see where we're at. Yeah, Edwin Diaz is certainly not joining the team here. He's out for the year, so I have to be careful not to pick him up by mistake. There's JT out on the board here. Luis Robert might not be a bad one for me to pick up. I'm a believer that he's going to be healthy this year, and if he is, he's a true 5 tier or 5 category talent. He's kind of like um a light version of Ronald Acuna Jr. So I do like him here in this position. I might be picking him up. We shall see if he wins. To me here. Otherwise, I mean, there's some really good options out here. I kind of feel bad picking up Paul Goldschmidt where I could have got Matt Olson, but Dylan Cease, not super big on him. I think I'm going to be picking up either Robert or Randy Arozarena. I kind of like either one of them in this spot. Our turn is next. Oh, there goes Robert. So we're not going to be getting him. And there goes a Rosarena, so we're not going to be getting him either. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, but let's see where that puts us here. Matt Olson, man, if we pick up Matt Olson, we are going to be absolutely stacked at first base. I don't think I'm really prepared to do Dylan Cease here. I think God. Uh, this one's tricky because we do have JT Realmuto. He's the best catcher in the league. Not a terrible pickup here, but I don't think that's what the way that I want to go. I think we're gonna go. Oh, you know what? Maybe we do go. We're gonna go JT. Don't like picking up catchers this early, but hands kind of forced a little bit there. So with my next one, there's Jazz Chisholm off the board. That's who I was gunning for here. So I'm kind of being picked around here a little bit, which isn't fun. Okay, so up next, but trust in Dylan C. Not really liking much of these options right. Really like Matt Olson. Don't think I'm gonna be Kyle Schwarber. I don't want to die on average here, so I think we're gonna go with Josh here. We'll get a reliever on the board. Certainly somebody that I'm guessing is going to pick up the lion's share of saves. Diego. Um, Hopefully that's going to be the case here. Yeah, that was a bit of a rough turn. The two guys that I was really hoping for ended up getting picked right before my pick and kind of forced me into a bad spot there with Real Muto. But at least I can say that catcher is taken care of. I don't have to worry about it. He's going to be playing again majority of games behind the plate in Philadelphia, barring an injury. So my catcher position should be locked and should be performing much higher than the average catcher position. So I feel pretty solid about that. Let's go and talk about Let's talk about your first baseman. We're going to go back to here. Pasquantino, Nathaniel Lowe. My goal here is to pick up to pick up some left-handed bats. I know as I go through my lineup, they're all righties right now, but I'm going to be picking up some left-handed bats here that should benefit from that from the switch. From not sorry, not the switch. We're talking the change in the rules there for the shift. I do think that there is going to be a bit of a batter premium for left-handed batters, especially those who have been prone to the shift in years past. That's going to now be a lot more difficult for defenses to guard against sharp hit ground ball on the right side. So I really do think that there's going to be some better stats coming down the pipe here for left-handed batters. There's a few that I have on this list here for first baseman, although I've already picked my first baseman. But Vinny Pasquantino, Nathaniel Lau, Rowdy Telez, those are great names to have. Telez is going to pick 200. I really think that he's going to be a solid source of production in the middle of that Milwaukee lineup here this year. Joey Meneses, Jose Miranda, Christian Walker are three guys as well that I think are rated critically low, and could be considerable fantasy producers this year as well. So I think that it's a good idea for you to consider getting those here too. Let's take a look at some second basemen here. So I've got a few kind of keyed up. We talked about one already as a third baseman here. Andres Jimenez, I think will I wouldn't be surprised if he takes over that top of the lineup spot there from Ahmed Rosario in Cleveland. I think he's the better of the two here contact wise. He can certainly put up a 2020 season here this year. I think he was 17 and 20 last year, so he's got the ability to go 20 for sure. Still a young player. I think he's like 24, 25 maybe. Um, he's got some growth still left in him there. So I like him as a middle infield pick. Got him on a couple of my teams here. And as I go down, oh, there goes Wander Franco. He was somebody that I had kind of queued up. I think that was going pretty low here as well, but he is now off the list. Can't draft him now. Max Muncy, we talked about. Brandon Lau, another one that I think is primed for a bounce back season. He's still in his prime. Um, Power hitting second baseman. It's not going to really help you out with steals. Might get past 240. I actually think he's going to be more of a 250, 255 hitter. But yeah, plenty of power. He's a little bit overlooked there in fantasy circles, but I think he's primed for a bounce back season. I like Brandon Lau, especially at ADP 3. Cairo Estrada is another one. He's going to be hitting towards the top of the lineup. A little bit of a late bloomer, but he can put up double digits home runs and steals. And if he stays at the top of the lineup, you can expect way more than 60 runs out of Estrada. So I like him as well in the spot here for second base. Ketel Marte is a sneaky pick here as well. Certainly hasn't aged out of relevance here in fantasy circles. He has the ability to hit for 300. He's got solid contact skills. Not going to hit for a whole lot of home runs. Not going to hit for a whole lot of stolen bases. But if you're looking to be solid in batting average, then this is certainly a pick that you can do quite well on at ADP 207. All right, we are about to pick next here. Let's take a look to see who's out there. Carlos Rodon is out there. That is likely going to be my pick here. We're going to pick up Carlos Rodon. Bit of a risky pick because he was injured, but looks as though he will be good to go. Take another quick look at. Felt good after resuming throwing. Yeah. Looking to return mid to late April. So I can pay the discount there. Not too scared of of losing out on um, playing time there. Now, this next pick is a little interesting. I think we're going to do is we are. I know there's a lot of hype on this player here. We're now at pick 74. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Corbin Carroll. I don't have him in any of my other leagues. I've drafted 7 other leagues, and I've always wanted to have him on my team. I know this is a bit of a reach here, but I've seen him go as high as 55, 60. 74 is certainly not a bad spot to pick him up here. So we're going to go ahead and pick up Corbin Carroll. He's going to be the lead outfielder on this team. All right, let's take a look at. We talked third baseman already. Let's go to shortstop. A few players here to take a look at. I actually do like O'Neal Cruz here. Of course, I already have Trey Turner, so I wouldn't be picking up an O'Neal Cruz for my team. But if he's available there in your drafts, towards the 7th round, 8th round, he's certainly a player that would do you well on your squad here. I think he certainly has the ability to hit 30 home runs. We've seen how his batted ball or max exit velocities pan out here. I think he hit the hardest ball in Statcast era there last year. So I like his projections here for 30 home runs at a shortstop, which is a premium position. You could do far worse than picking up O'Neal Cruz on your team. Somebody picked up Willie Adames. I would have picked up Cruz over Adames. But for the players that I've got queued up, Jeremy Pena. The secret should not it be much of a secret anymore with a player like Pena. I think he's going to do. I think he outpaces Correa for the rest of Correa's career. Um, Definitely fill that hole left by Correa in Houston, and I think Pena is going to run away with it. He's potential. He's going to be hitting at the top of the lineup more than likely with Altuve injured as well. There, out for I think till June or maybe July, depending on how he rehabs. I think that's a really solid pick there. If you're hitting the middle rounds, you can do far worse. We talked about Tyro Estrada, Javi Baez. I put him on this list. It was a little hard for me to pick up shortstop or to queue up some shortstops to talk about. Uh, Baez, I he's obviously strikeout prone. He swings at some awful pitches, but I do think that just his talent, um, hitting near the top of the Detroit lineup, he might surprise some people. Going at pick 178 is not terrible spot to take a flyer on a player like Baez. Nico Horner, I think, is a much more polished hitter. Not going to be hitting for homers, but he's certainly going to be doing well near the top of the Cub lineup, where I think they're going to slot him in there. Adalberto Mondesi, I know a lot of people are saying that he could lead the league in steals, and they're right. I mean, if he gets 450 to 500 at bats, he might be able to pull down 60 bags the way that the rules are going now, and the just sheer speed that he has. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be in the contention for the stolen base bag in the American League. Certainly something to keep an eye on there out there for you guys out if you need him, if you need that category. Then we got Anthony Volpe. It sounds like they're kind of thinking he's going to be starting the year as shortstop in New York. Um, Maybe the favorite to make the opening day roster. We'll see if that's the case. If that is the case, then I don't even know where he bats. That lineup there is going to be needing some retooling. I don't think he's going to be batting at the front of the lineup here, at least to start the year. But if he plays well out of the gates, he certainly has the profile to do that. So keep an eye out for Volpe, an easy flyer pick at 238. Let's go to some. Actually, we'll hold off on outfielders here for a bit until we finish these next two picks. Let's go to uh, our board, our draft board, and then see who we've got picking around here. So I do need to pick up. At this point here, I'm trying to see if we can just pick up the best players possible. I'm not in the necessarily fill hole spot yet. I'm always looking to try and build a squad with as many solid hitters, especially, and then kind of fill out with the rest of the pitchers there as the draft goes on. Usually, what I do in rotisserie leagues is I'll load up on a little bit more hitters. In head-to-head leagues, I always load up with more pitchers because I can basically cycle through my pitchers throughout the course of the week and get as many counting stats as possible. But it's not necessarily the case. You don't do that so much when it comes to rotisserie leagues because you do have a cap limit. Um, in which case, I'll more than likely just try to um, you know, I'll pick up some pitchers that are going to be good and could be eating up a lot of innings, like a Robbie Ray, for example. Um, Maybe even Joe Musgrove. If I can get Musgrove here, that wouldn't be so bad. As it looks here, the two guys I see on my list that I would be happy to put on the squad here, probably going to be Tommy Edman. I like his steal potential. Should be hitting at the top of the lineup here. He scored 95 runs last year, had 32 stolen bases. Ooh, Rowdy Tellez went 92nd. Bit of a reach. I think it's a little too early for him. I like him. We just talked about him there, but I think within the top 100 picks is a little bit too early for him. And there goes Tommy Edman, of course. Who is this guy? That's Hobby's incredible team. He's auto picking and he's picking up all my guys. That hurts the pride. Um, all right. So I think we go Joe Musgrove here. I know he hasn't pitched in the spring training yet. He's rehabbing a toe injury or something that he did early on in spring training, but he is possibly the best player out right now that I see. I mean, I like Kershaw, but I don't like the fact he's not playing all that much. They've really been capping his innings over the years. We're gonna go Joe Musgrove, and we may end up a lot of really good players still out there. This next one's going to be a little tricky. I may pick up Jimenez here just to solidify my second baseman spot. Robbie Ray is out there as well. And you know what? We're gonna need a frontline starter. Hmm. This one's a little tricky. I do like Jimenez here, but I think Ray's the right play. Or is it the right play? Let me take a look at the available second base. After Jimenez, yeah, there's Brandon Lau that's still out there, so I do have a shot at him. I think we're doing okay with our stolen bases so far. Carroll and Turner. Let's go ahead and pick up Robbie. Okay. Jimenez goes right after. This Hobby's incredible team is picking up all the guys that I like. Let's go ahead and take a look at some outfielders here. Again, you'll see some. Oh, actually, I totally forgot about Bryce Harper. We need to queue him up here pretty quick. He's going to be somebody I certainly want on the squad. Doesn't really impact the same here on a head or on a rotisserie league than he would on a head-to-head league. Of course, head-to-head, the only goal is to make it to the playoffs and then have your strongest squad possible in the playoffs to take home the trophy. Uh, Bryce Harper, of course, is going to be missing the first half of the season. Um, you know, it's not going to matter so much in your head-to-head leagues because you're going to have him on your team when you want him. In rotisserie, you got to fill that spot with something. So, although Bryce Harper is going to be somebody that I'm hoping I'm going to get on the squad, I do need to be careful, thinking that I've got that position locked up because I'm going to have half a season of trying to be able to fill that outfield spot with something else. Um, Going back to what we have queued up here, Christian Yelich, I think he's going to be another one that's going to benefit from the shift rules, being a left-handed bat. He was MVP not too long ago. Is he gonna find that 40 home run stroke? I doubt it. He might hit 25 this year. I think that's certainly within the range of what he can do. MJ Melendez, he's kind of a tag on from catcher here. Taylor Ward is going to be hitting somewhere around that Shohei Otani, Mike Trout spot in the lineup here. So I think he's going to be primed for a nice season. He had a great start to last season before he tapered off and he got hurt. But I think he's a candidate that can do really well here for your squad in the position that he's playing in. Um, Cody Bellinger is another one that I like. I mean, I know you know a lot of people are off on a player like Bellinger, um, and I don't blame you. He's certainly hurt a lot of fantasy teams the last couple of years. Oh, I just sneezed on air. I apologize for all those who had to go through that. But I do believe Bellinger is going to be a bounce back candidate. We'll put it that way. Has the potential for hit for 2025 home runs. Likely will hit better than 205 this year. Strikes out a lot. Yes, that's true. But he can also help you out with stolen bases. He had 14 last year. I think that's going to be closer to the 15-20 range, is what we can expect from him this year. He's somebody that I got my eye on. Masataka Yoshida, the hero of, well, I guess one of the heroes on Team Samurai Japan in the World Baseball Classic. He's somebody that I've been trying to get on every single one of my squads. So if I get into a position where I can pick him up, you can absolutely be certain he's going to be in the squad. This team. I got Harrison Bader down here. I mean, he of course has an oblique injury. There was talk of him hitting ahead of Aaron Judge at the top of the New York lineup before he went down. So I like that type of thought process from New York. We'll see if that actually materializes here when he does get healthy. Garrett Mitchell is going to be a good source of stolen bases for cheap. He's somebody that I've been kind of keeping my eye out here. I don't know why I have Andrew McCutcheon. Not somebody I'm going to take him off. But that's a list of some good outfielders for you to take a look at. Let's see if there's anybody else. Oh yeah, Trent Grisham. He's the 2020 candidate. Again, somebody I forecast will be hitting better than what they're projecting. Too really low. I think he's going to be closer to the 230, 240 range. But has the ability to dip in 20 home runs and 20 steals. So somebody you can keep an eye on late in your drafts. If he doesn't happen to go, you can take a flyer on somebody. Oh, there goes Harper. So Harper is not going to be joining the squad, which is kind of unfortunate, but not too bent out of shape because of that. All right. Take a look at where we are standing. Oh, Jeffrey Springs is actually a good one. Nice pick up there for Bluff City Blues. He's one that I would have certainly liked on the squad there as well. Looking through my relief pitchers here, we're going to likely need to take a look at grabbing one. And as I kind of go through the list, there's a lot of the good ones are off the board here. Ideally, one of the other things that I'm trying to do is lock in 3 solid relievers that's going to help out with saves. In a league like this, that's definitely going to requirement. You're going to need to pick up saves. Here it is a counting category. There's still a few guys out there, but all it takes is a run on it, and we're going to be stuck picking up the scraps. Now, of course, that being said, closers they become a dime a dozen throughout the season. There's a lot of closers that lose their job. There's a lot of people that get put into the jobs there, so I'm not too worried about it. But it's certainly something that we're going to keep an eye on. I'd like to get at least one more bona fide closer on the squad here before it is late. As I look through this, here's Tyler Glass now sitting out on the board, and he's another one. He's going to be injured to start the year, but once he's healthy, He's got the potential to be a top 5, top 6, starter. So our starters are super stacked right now. We got Rodon, Musgrove, Ray, and Glasnow. I couldn't have asked for a better starting 4, but we are gonna have to shift gears a little bit now and start looking at filling in the spots that we are missing. So I would need a second baseman, and I do need a reliever. At 140, we got Scott Barlow out there. I think I want to get him just yet. So I think what we're going to do is pick up. I don't know what we're going to pick up. Um, do I take a chance on a Chris Bryant having a resurgence? Could certainly do worse. I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to go. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to pick up Max Muncy. I need a second baseman. We're going to take the average hit, and we're going to lock in Max Muncy for our starting second baseman. I was thinking I was going to do um Chris Bryant, but I forget that I've got some really good outfielders lined up here. One Ward and Taylor Ward. But I'm still left with a couple of really good options at outfield, so I don't have to worry necessarily that I only have the one. Okay, let's take a look at starting pitchers who I've got queued up, ready to go here. That I like. Of course, right now, again, our starting pitcher. This is going to be probably this could potentially be the best pitching team that I've got. So we've got well, there goes George Kirby. He was queued up there for me. Lucas Giolito, I think, is prime for a bounce back season there as well. I mean, he wasn't too long ago one of the potentially top 10 pitchers in the league 2 years ago, I believe it was, and he had an awful season last season. But strikeout potential is key. You do want to try and aim for players that are better than a strikeout per nine. Sorry, 9 strikeouts per 9 on your squad, because again, strikeouts are a counting category. You want to as possible. So if you can stay above 9 strikeouts per 9, that is the ideal. Lucas Giolito certainly has the ability to miss bats. Um, Tony Gonsolin, not quite so much, but he's going to be in a position here once he gets back from injury that he could certainly put up some really good counting stats. He was almost sub 2 last year in 130 innings, up 60 loaded Dodger squad. So wins being a category, you're going to be a much better position getting wins pitch for the Dodgers. I do like Tony Gonsolin here as well. Hunter Green, not going to be picking up a whole lot of wins, but he's certainly going to be striking out batters in droves. 180 strikeouts is what he's projected to get here this coming year. 164 last year and 125 innings pitched. Awful ERA, but he's got lightning stuff, and he was a force to be reckoned with in the second half here last year. So he's somebody that I would look at picking up. Nick Lodolo, under the same breath, similar style pitcher. He's another one that I think will do well on fantasy squads here. Jesus Luzardo, another one that's going to miss bats. Pitching in Miami, you're not going to be getting a whole lot of wins, but I think he's going to have solid peripherals there that you can work around that. Chris Sale is, if he is healthy, actually healthy. I know we've been saying this for years, but if he's actually healthy, he could be a top 30 starter still in this league here. So he's a value pick at 159. Dustin May, probably the filthiest stuff that you'll see from a pitcher. That two seam fastball has some serious run. He's going to be potentially missing a lot of bats. Although he, oddly enough, he there's more contact. I guess it's soft contact that's made on Dustin May's pitches here. You'd think with a pitcher with that much movement, a lot harder to hit. But I'm expecting some good things from Dustin May. I think a pick that I'm going to try to gun for, maybe for fifth starter. He's still around at that time. Jordan Montgomery in a position kind of like Tony Gonsolin. Not going to be striking a whole bunch of batters out, but he's going to be pitching in St. Louis. There should be a lot of wins to be had So definitely somebody that you can take a look at later on in the draft, as somebody that can help you out in at least 3 or 4 of the categories. Brady Singer. I know some people have actually mentioned Brady Singer is very similar to Sandy Alcantara, which is a really good pitcher to be measured against here. I think he's got the ability to do, uh, at least replicate what he did here last year. 3.23 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. He's got that ability there for sure to be able to continue for this year. He's an ace in the making. Certainly somebody that I would take a look at later on the draft there as well. And Kodai Senga, the book's not quite out on him yet, at least in across the pond along our way. But I'm a believer. Mets think highly of him here, and they're in it to win it. So I think he's a good pickup here at 197. Let's scroll through the list. I think that's all of my starting pitchers, and we are 4 picks away from our uh next pick. So let's take a look to see who is out there. Hmm. There's another player that I'm going to queue up here. CJ Abrams, there he is. I'm not going to, of course, pick him now, but he's going to be something they're going to actually have on the queue. Um, Jordan Walker's actually another talk about there. We kind of talked about him a little bit. If Jordan Walker gets 400 at bats, there's some guys that are saying that he could be like Julio Rodriguez was last year, which would be fantastic. Always fun. Okay. Hmm. I do really need an outfielder here. I think we're gonna do something a little. This is more to kind of maybe block another. You want to do MJ Melendez? I would have loved to have picked him up here and not JT earlier on. That would have been a steal. Yeah, and we're gonna give a shot with MJ Melendez. Melendez, of course, I could have easily slot him in my catcher spot. He's going to be playing mostly outfield for Kansas City here this year. Going to be getting a whole bunch of at bats. Not nearly as valuable as an outfielder, but certainly going to be valuable as a catcher. And he's going to help out with the whenever Real Muto is off. Chances are Melendez will be able to fill that spot because he'll like. All right, I need a reliever. We're going to go Pete Fairbanks. If I wait too long, we're not going to have any more relievers left, and I need to fill that spot here. So Pete Fairbanks is going to be joining the squad. Um, he's going to have he's going to have phenomenal numbers, I'm sure, this year. He may not be in line. Well, Tampa Bay doesn't really have an established closer. They rarely will use one. But if anybody in that bullpen has the ability to do that, it would be Pete Fairbanks. I was really tempted to pick up Lucas Giolito there. Oh, there goes Joey Menes, somebody that I outfielded. Now I can get him. Somebody that certainly wasn't going 149. And there goes Leclerc. All right, so there's not a whole lot left to talk about here. This draft has actually been going pretty fast. Um, we got Liam Hendricks. He, of course, is um, well, he had cancer, has cancer, um, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So he may or may not pitch this year. I would say the better play here is to go Kendall Graveman. At least to start the year, have Liam Hendricks as backup. He's likely going to hit the DL anyways, or IL. As soon as the IL spots free up here, he's going to be somebody that slots right in. Evan Phillips actually is a good pickup, but I've got, I think, Broodstar Gratterall down here as well. It's going to be between these two. I believe that's going to be picking up the saves in Dodgerland. Both are certainly capable pitchers, able to get phenomenal stats. I think right now the edge is with Broodstar Gratterall, but I wouldn't bank on that being how it's going to be this season. I think Evan Phillips certainly has the tools to get the job done. Alex Lange is one that I've got on my list here. Cheap saves out of Detroit. Um, I'm going to be looking at possibly picking him up here for the squad. Hopefully, he can last a few more rounds. I don't want to pick him yet. Hunter Brown is, and a lot of people are comparing him to, well, I guess I shouldn't say comparing him to. Hunter Brown mimicked his delivery from off of Verlander, so that's a great thing to have to try to use as a blueprint to being a good pitcher. So he's being drafted a lot higher actually than 160. So he's somebody that I wouldn't mind putting on the tier as like a fifth starter there as well, fifth or sixth starter. Jorge Lopez likely will get some saves in Minnesota, but I mean they've got um, Joan Duran down there, the fireballer, who will likely be taking that position at some point here. Kyle Finnegan, cheap saves in Washington, Broodstar Grattle, we kind of already talked about. Those are the guys that I've got for relief. Now we're about to choose our next player here. Tony Gonsolin is sitting out there still. At pick 142. Anthony Rizzo's out there as well. Brandon Lau's out there. I think that's what we're going to go for. We're going to pick up Brandon Lau with our next pick. If he stays. Hobby's incredible team will likely pick. As soon as I key in on a player, he gets picked up by Hobby's incredible. Let's see if it happens. Nope, didn't happen. He picked up Matt Chapman. So we're going to pick up Brandon Lau. I like having some middle infield help. Max Muncy, I wasn't too keen on in second base. I actually got the guy that I wanted. Muncy can play more of a utility player there. All right, back over to me. Mitch Haniger is sitting. I pick 146. Christian Walker is sitting out there too. 60. Chris Sale is a good one out there. Tony Gonsolin. There's some really good picks here. Kind of like, Dustin May. Ooh, Jose Miranda. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. What do I need most? Got two third baseman, got two second base. Another first baseman. Yeah, I think we're gonna go Christian Walker. Although I could have easily gone, I mean, there was 5 guys I could have gone with there. Mitch Haniger was certainly on my list there. Um, on the next round, I'm gonna take a look at probably picking up a relief pitcher and locking in one of my other outfield spots here. So we'll see who's remaining on the board at that. With relievers, there is an innings cap, so I don't want to go too heavy. Or sorry, with pitchers, I should say, not relievers. With pitchers, there's an innings cap, so I don't want to necessarily go too heavy with pitchers in the draft. I'll probably pick up 2 bench, maybe 3, and I'll have at least 2 bench for hitters because the goal with hitters is to try and fill in again. Somebody misses, if somebody's going to be missing a game, you have to have a position or somebody ready to fill in that spot there on your bench just in case because you don't want to get stuck at the end of the season with games you weren't able to play. Really easy to miss games in baseball. There's 162 to be played, so I'm more of the line early on in the season if I can fill those spots. If I can try to stay ahead of the curve, at least in baseball, that's the best position to be in. I'll try to play as many of them as possible because um, chances are, if you just set it and forget it, you're going to be missing out on a lot of games by the end of the year. Oh, Alberto Mondesi's actually not Ian on there as well. I have him queued up here. I'd pick. There's still quite a bit of value to be had at the end of this draft, which is always nice. Like if you feel that the draft's not quite going your way, all it takes is a couple of savvy picks towards the end of your draft that will make you happy. And I still have lots. I mean, if you take a look at my queue, still got lots of players that I've keyed in on that I think will be uh, helpful additions to the squad. Masataka Yoshida, that is certainly one that I want. He's likely going to be. I'm going to be picking him up next. Still out there, I definitely want it, and that's going to fill out a nice little outfield spot. I'm going to need to pick up another outfielder, more than likely. Uh, Mitch Haniger is still there, so if nobody picks up Haniger, then I'm likely going to go. What? I don't know. I do need take a look at relievers. I do need another reliever. Lange is still out there. Hendricks, again, we don't know when he's going to be pitching, if he's going to be pitching this year. So I don't like to spend the 15th round. There's still some value to be had. I'd pick up Hendricks towards maybe the 20th round. If he's still there, he's worth the risk at that point. Paul Sewald, actually, that might not be a bad one to go for. I think that's what we're going to go for next. Paul Sewald. likely not going to hold on to the reliever or the closer role here once Munoz gets going. But it sounds as if Munoz is going to be pitching the eighth, or the high leverage situations, and Seawald is going to be pitching, which that's awesome. Oh, you kind of want to have established roles bullpen. That's what we're hearing out of the Seattle camp. So actually, I think that might be my next pick here. But you look at who's out there still. You got Gonsolin, you got May, Luis Garcia picking up a lot of wins for Houston. Mitch Haniger. I mean, there's some real Anthony Rizzo. Nobody's picked him up yet. Oh, there goes Yoshida. Noah, no, no, Noah. There goes Dustin May. Boy, May, I'm not too heartbroken about. Yoshida, I mean, gosh, there's Henniger and Nimmo out there. Verdugo's out there. There's like 5 or 6 outfielders ahead of him, but waited just a little bit too long for him. Well, that just stinks. Oh well. So that didn't quite pan out. Maybe I'll see if I can make a trade for him. We'll see. Um, I think we're gonna go Henniger and then Seawald. Henniger at pick 146 is just, or sorry, at pick 191 if it comes to me. I think that would be a complete steal. He's got 30 home run potential. New team. I know San Francisco isn't exactly a home run haven for right-handed batters, but I think he's going to admirably there. So right now, this team's weakness is its outfield, and its relievers. I mean, other than that, we've got prime positions or prime players in every other position, and we've got a Corbin Carroll. It's a bit of a risk, I know, having Carroll as your main outfielder, as he's still relatively unproven. But what we're seeing of him, the type of pedigree that he has, I think he's going to be. There goes Seawald. No, this draft is starting to get on my nerves. All right, switching plans here a little bit. Pablo Lopez is gone. We're gonna go with Haniger for sure. We knew we needed an outfielder. There isn't really. Do I want to wait? I really want to wait for another round. You need another outfielder. We're gonna have a completely injured team here. That's okay. We're gonna pick up Gonsolin. Got 5 absolutely quality starters. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are likely going to start decent on the. Boy, Okay, so Alex Lange is the next in line for me to pick up. I don't think he's going to make it to me. I'm taking a bit of a risk here. Perhaps I shouldn't. Craig Kimbrell is out there as well. There's a chance he's going to be closing in Philly. Not really the closer he once was. Put Jorge Lopez out there as well. There goes Jordan Walker. The feeling he'd be going around this point. For me, I don't. I mean, he was going to get an outfielder tag, so that could have been helpful there for me for sure. I'm not too beat up about that. We've got 6 picks left, so we're going to need again another reliever. We're going to need another outfielder. Trying to think if there's anybody else that might be getting a future outfield tag. I don't think so. Rendon's a good pickup here. Nice pickup there for Ref Biker Bunnies. See my I'm going up in the standings. Let's go. Oh, there goes Lange. All right, well, goes Lopez. Minguez. Who's left? That's the question. It may not be a bad idea to pick up both Hendricks and Graveman here. I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed that one of them is going to close games for Chicago. I mean, I don't have Hendricks in any of my leagues, but I think it kind of calls for, you know, having somebody, having somebody on your squad that you know is going to close once they get in. We're going to go Liam Hendricks. And I think we go Jose Miranda here. It's tricky because I do like There's a few players on here. I think I like Jose. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go Jose Miranda here. I've got my backup first baseman now. Got a backup second baseman. I got a backup third baseman. I do need a backup shortstop. And I know I said I wanted to get an outfielder, and I didn't at this round. We're gonna have to get an outfielder for sure. Take a look to see who's left out in the field. Not a whole lot. Kind of missed the boat on the outfielders that I was kind of keen up here. Might take a flyer on Jared Kelenic. Adam Duvall actually went. Might not be a bad choice there. Ruiz is going to be stealing a lot of bases. Oh, there goes Volpe. Okay, we've got 3 players left here. 3 picks left before we choose. Tempted to pick, I think we are gonna go Harrison Bates still around. Gotta be careful with what I wish for because if somebody's listening on the other side. All right, here we go. So we are gonna go ahead and pick up Harrison Bader. And then we are going to go ahead and get Adalberto. Don't mind picking Mondesi up here in the next to last round. Now it's about picking up another reliever and another starter. Thinking that's going to finish off the team. I hope you guys enjoyed this content here. Just to keep in mind, if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing fantasy baseball all year round. We're just wrapping up our fantasy basketball for the season. There's another couple of weeks, I think, of content before that comes to a close. Then we're going to be doing fantasy baseball here throughout the summer. We also do breaks. If you're a fan of sports card breaks, we do that as well here on the channel. If that's your speed, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out on eBay as well when we do our when we post our breaks for on YouTube here. We do have a giveaway that we're going to be doing here as well, coming up hopefully shortly. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be giving away a PSA 9 slab of Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man. Going to be going to a lucky subscriber here once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We can get to that mark here real quick, and I can give away that. Okay, we are closing in 10 picks to go, and then I've got basically turn. Shouldn't be too long before we finish off the draft. I'll be going over kind of a bit of a recap there for you guys. I hope you found this content kind of helpful here. It's I've been doing this a while, that's for sure. It's been gosh, since 8, I believe. Oh, 5 years now that I've been doing drafts here. So I've kind of got a good handle, I would say, as to what my strategy is year in, year out. This year, of course, no different. Gail Vargas is a good pick. Gabriel Moreno, if that's your main catcher, it's actually not too bad to get him. That is his main. All right, two more guys. No, we are going to go ahead and take Mike Soroka and then finish it off with Kendall Graveman. Add to the all injured team, Mike Soroka. We'll see if he ends up pitching in April. He may pitch in April. He just got, I think, well, according to his uh, little note there, he pitched today. So, if you're taking a risk on a guy like Chris Sale and he's going 10 rounds earlier, certainly doesn't hurt to pick up a Michael Soroka with the last pick. Oh, why did Dime? Oh, man. Jumps in and then he leaves right before his picks are, or he picks 2 extra minutes of my life. The one thing about drafting as many guys that are injured, especially my starting lineup, starting rotation, is I am now vulnerable to an early season injury from one of my main guys. I can't really pick up. Um, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to drop him. I'll put him on the IL usually here, but it doesn't give me an opportunity really to. Like, I'd have to trade off one of my guys on the IL, which is not something that I really want to do. So I am taking a bit of a risk here. Hopefully, some of the guys on my IL gets healthy relatively soon, so that way you can free up some spots here if somebody does happen to get injured throughout the season. All right, Kendall Graveman, last player to join the squad. Um, I think that's going to be solid enough there for me and my relievers that I should be okay in the saves category. The whole idea, of course, I typically will draft an all-around team. I'd like to get contributions from every single categories. I don't want to necessarily go heavy on homers or steals or anything like that there, because if you lead your league by 50 homers, you're gonna get the exact same amount of points as if you lead the league by 5 homers. So really, the whole point is to go as all around as possible, try to hit up all the categories that you need. Just be, you know, cognizant that you're filling in all. I think we've done that quite well. I look through the list. There's still a few players that I don't I can see myself adding to the team. Kyle Finnegan, Jose Urquidy's just got picked. Lance McCullers is sitting on the injured list. Will likely return maybe within a couple months. There's a few guys that I could certainly see adding to the team here, at least in the short term, just to fill those injury spots drafted. Um, I think we should be okay. We'll see. We'll see how the season goes. I'm excited to get into it here. This is the last team for me to draft. I hope you guys enjoyed it here, watching this here as well, and hopefully it helped you guys out there a little bit with what your strategies are going into your drafts and how you want to play the league. Just be active. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. You're not going to win your league by drafting well at the start of the season. It's all about making sure you stay on top of it through the season. Team that stays on top, teams that stay on top typically do the best. So we're going to take a quick little look here. I know there's one team left to draft. That's not going to really play into what I'm trying to do. I'm going to take a quick look at how the team stacks up. There you go. The draft is now complete. Um, the idea here, of course, is we want to try and, um, like I said, maximize every category, or as many categories as we can. We're going to start with the hitters. Um, Ideally, I like to get, if you're looking at runs, I'd like to have, at least 5 players that can score 80 runs more. We have Max, go to the 20, curious about Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Riley, Trey Turner. I think they projected Max Muncy for 82. I don't know if he's going to hit that. We'll see. He could. He certainly gets on base a lot. So that's a possibility there. Kind of in LA. Corbin Carroll, I think, is going to be able to get there. So I've got 5 guys there already. And to take a look between Melendez, Mitch Haniger, Brandon Lau, Christian Walker, there's certainly some capabilities there. I don't think Miranda's going to get there. Bader, if he gets to the top of the lineup, might be able to get there. We'll see how he comes back from his leak injury. At Alberto Mondesi, I don't think he's going to field nearly as much to get that many. But in a pinch, if I need to put him in there, he's definitely going to be a source of runs and certainly of stolen bases there. Home runs, again, 5 guys hitting 20 or more, and my entire lineup hits 20. My entire starting lineup, Real Muto, Goldschmidt, Muncy, Riley, Turner, everybody's hitting 20. Carroll, Melendez, Mitch Haniger, Brandon. I will be fine with home runs. Runs batted in another 5 to hit 20 or more. Real Muto, possibly middle of the Philadelphia lineup. He's definitely a good shot. Goldschmidt at 100 and hitting the middle of the St. Louis lineup. Fine. Max Muncy could do it there. Riley should do it. Trey Turner should do it. Corbin Carroll could do it. Melendez, depending on where he hits. I think he's hitting towards the top of the lineup, so I don't know if he's going to get to 78. Haniger, if he's healthy. Lau, if he's healthy. Like, there's a bunch of guys. Christian Walker had 94 last year, so I'm certainly think that he's could hit 80 this year. Miranda should hit 80 this year as well, so we're going to be fine with RBIs. Stolen bases, 15 or more from 5 guys. Real Mutos there. Turner, Carroll could be league leaders. There we got Harrison Bader and Mondesi if they come back from injury. But we should be okay there. And then we're looking for 5 guys again hitting 270 or more. This might be a little bit tougher here. Real Muto should be able to do it. He hit 276 last year. Goldschmidt should be able to do it there as long as he doesn't have a super down year. Riley could do it. Trey Turner should be able to do that. He's one of the best hitters in the league. Corbin Carroll's got the ability to do that there. We'll see if he does. We have Jose Miranda that's projected to do it there. We'll see. Then all the other guys are kind of middling. The only one that's really going to be a drain on average that I can see is Max Muncy. And at Alberto Mondesi, of course, if I have to plug him in here, I'm not plugging him into league for average. So again, I feel pretty good about that. We may be lacking a little bit in average, but we should be at least middle of the pack there. Going on to pitchers, looking at the wins stat. This one is not going to be favorable for me, of course, because I picked up a bunch of guys that are injured, but they certainly have the ability to rack up wins when they're healthy. And that's going to be the key thing. I have to make sure I choose well for pitchers to start that come out of the gate here, just to be able to fill those spots until mine get healthy. So Rodon, once he's healthy, he's pitching in New York. That's going to be 90, 95 win team here, so he should get his line share win. Musgrove pitching in San Diego, same idea. You got Robbie Ray in Seattle. 12 wins. I might be on the lower end of what you can see. Glass now, once he's healthy, there talk about him pitching 150 innings anyways. He could rack up double-digit wins. Gonsolin, again, once he's healthy, he's pitching in Los Angeles. Soroka, if he actually returns to 2019 form pre-injury, that could be the steal of the draft right there. We'll see what happens with him. So I think I did okay again with wins. Saves, we'll have to see how that one plays out there. I've got one lock, one that's going to likely split time, and then one injured and one replacement. So we may be looking at another, trying to fill in some more saves for this team. We'll see how it kind of goes for that. Strikeouts, though, I think we did really well on. I try to pick up as many K9 pitchers as possible. Our K per inning pitchers as possible. Rodon, Musgrove, Hader is, he's got a shot at 100 Ks this year. Pete Fairbanks, Robbie Ray is going to strike out a bunch of guys. Tyler Glasnow is going to strike out a bunch of guys. Tony Gonsolin is going to strike out 9K per nine, give or take. Hendricks should be fine once he's healthy. Soroka, we'll see. So I think we did really well with strikeouts. ERA, most of them are kind of around the threes. Not terrible. I do want to kind of see that, kind of towards 3.1. We may have a little bit of work to do to get there. And then whip, I think we did okay here. I want to see around 1.1. Rodon's pretty much the wild card here. I know I took him pretty early. If he can pitch to his tune of what he did last year, 2.88 ERA, 1.0 whip, I think he will be the lead charge for those stats here for the league. The only thing that's kind of unfortunate with Rodon is he, of course, is pitching now in the AL East. He's going to be pitching against a formidable Blue Jays squad for one. So we'll have to kind of see how that plays out here. I may pick my matchups with Rodon. We'll see how it goes over the course of the year. But I still think I did pretty well with that. Now, that's pretty much the review here. I hope you guys enjoyed this here. But again, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so. We are going to sign off for now, but we're going to catch you guys on our next episode.